Hello friends, I'm Colonel Failure and you're watching Transport Fever with a Metropolis Fandango. I'm not entirely sure what that means, but you join me south of El Paso to kick things off today, where we're looking at the commuter station that we've got, that we built last time around. We got it a while ago, but we added in a couple of ploppable town buildings, as you can see here, to see what would happen. The answer to that question is you get a little bit of traffic. Now, that in itself is quite helpful. You get people coming who like being dropped off. Here's someone now. You get people who like being dropped off at this station. You like people who you get people who board the station from here. But what you don't get is it does not spur the town into action. So it will not grow the town in this area. And I know this because I've played forward by just over 100 years, not really changing much, connecting up a couple more towns more than anything else, to see what happens. Because I'm not going to sink a whole bunch of time into these things only for them to never work. If it doesn't work because I make a mess of it, that's one thing. But never working, that's just kind of a waste of an idea. Now, where I did get some success was by moving the stations a little bit further to the towns themselves. So putting the El Paso south, just up here maybe, and then when we look at Sioux Falls north, which is right here, same deal. We've got a couple of commercial buildings going on here. Again, never generates any growth whatsoever, but you can get some actual organic usage if you build just a little bit closer to where the town's actually going to grow. And it seems to me, and I'm sure someone will be able to confirm and or deny, possibly both, that towns have a set growing pattern that they want to use. So, and it differs from town to town. So Sioux Falls, for example, likes building out this way. Really loves it. Can't get enough of building out that way, which is, of course, as far as I'm concerned, completely useless. If it were to move in the opposite direction, then we could have a conversation. But no, just no interest in that whatsoever. So the first thing we're going to do today, before cracking on with our ongoing mission, is we're going to move the two commuter stations, one a little closer this way and the other a little closer that way. And then on the way to Detroit, we're going to bang another commuter station in here. And then, for my final trick, we'll start using this one before heading out to Overland Park, maybe, or Santa Ana, possibly, both of which are due a name change. Gripping stuff, friends, and you're going to want to stick around to make sure you don't miss out on any of it. Now then, in betwixt. No, you don't say in betwixt, you say betwixt. Betwixt the last episode and this one, I have had numerous people excitedly point me in the direction of the Bulldozer mod, which is nice. And said Bulldozer mod, I'm just going to get on with this while telling you a story, okay? So, settle in. And the Bulldozer mod allows you to select a particular type of building against the street and just remove all of it, or a particular type of asset and remove all of it in a particular area. Now that is very nice. That's a great piece of functionality that I'm sure many people will get a huge amount of use out of, but not me, because I am not to be trusted. I will only use it for evil. I will not benefit mankind in any way at all through the application of said mod. So thank you to everybody who recommended that. That's next episode. You're giving us flipping spoilers, man. Oh, for crying out loud. You get off this any quicker. There you go. Yeah, just pretend you didn't see that. I could put that in the director's cut, I suppose, but I don't really do a director's cut, so there is that. Right, now, so the other thing, yes, I've regained my composure there a little. The other thing worth noting is that I never run trains of significant length up this commuter side of things, so shorter platforms are totally viable, and I'm never likely to run huge lengthy trains up there, despite the fact that demand can get relatively significant as time passes. I mean, That's looking quite nice, isn't it? The answer is yes. Yes, Colonel, it's looking quite nice. Yeah, so the size of these things never actually warrants the super huge that I've been using. You may ask, what are you doing now? I'm moving this to the other side for two good reasons. The first of which is it's fine. It will work just fine the other side. The second of which is that I was blocking off possible progress over here. Let's get rid of these, because these are also ploppable buildings there, and instead we'll build a road here, and therefore we create everything just a little bit closer to town, which makes everybody a little bit more cheerful. I'm actually going to plop some buildings back in there to get that going, but also I'm going to park some down the end of Sioux Falls, because the way I see it is if I've plopped them in there and I've blocked off the roads, it should prevent your friend and I and mine, the AI, from getting ideas above its station and starting to build out in a direction that is not conducive. So that's the thinking there. That's the rationale. Go on, get rid of it. Can we? No, there isn't. There's a flipping train in the way. Well, that's less than ideal, isn't it? Right. Well, we'll have to cope with that in a minute. Right. Okay. The other mods that have been suggested very, very frequently are the flexible stations mod, which will allow you to build your station in a bendy fashion. Don't worry, it will happen. We'll bring that one to bear at some point in the nearish future. Not just yet. The goal is always going to be 1 to 2 mods per episode. And why have I left a gap there, I wonder? That's most curious. There we go. Let's put it back in again. Yeah, the curvy stations mod, is it because there is an invisible train? I think the invisible train has been moved, but you never know what will happen when we hit the unpause button. Well, never mind. Right, good. Now then, can I remove this station now, or shall we let it just percolate through for a minute? I'm going to need to rename this one. It hasn't it hasn't inherited the old station ID, so let's get that rolling. Wait for this to drop off the face of the planet, and then... oh, no, it has picked it up. That's good. Have you picked it up? Give it that one. Sioux Falls Stations 1 and 2. Sioux Falls Grand Central, Sioux Falls North. Oh, okay, I'm not connected. Right, well, if we pause up here, this is going to be Sioux Falls North, because, of course, we decided that North and South were the opposite way around to the way that the game thinks they are. No matter, we can easily resolve that. Pick that one up. Right, Sioux Falls North. If we add Sioux Falls New North, get rid of Sioux Falls Old North, and then Sioux Falls New North, get rid of Old one, and then everything is just peachy. Splendid, good, crack on. Right, and then once we've got the other side cleared out, we'll do that one as well. As long as nothing's in the station, I can delete without regret, which is how I like to live. Right, let's get rid of this stuff. So I will use the ploppable buildings hither and yon in order to further my overall objectives. But frankly, if they're not getting catchment within city limits, there is precious little point to having them. So even though they might be quite close together, think of them as bus stops, effectively, in terms of the usage they're likely to get. We're going to want a second street on this one, please. Now then, can we? Yes, we can't. Yes, we can. Yes, we can totally make that work. Everybody likes the look of that. No, I don't like the look of that. I like the look of that, however, and a tight curve is absolutely fine by me. Something like that should do the trick. Didn't look the other way, of course, but, you know, roads are expendable. You know that. Right, there we go. 50 mile an hour. That's perfectly acceptable. Grand. And we're going to obviously want to put in some signals. Perhaps a curvy station would have been slightly useful there. Although, that said, the curves are all happening post-station, so it doesn't really matter that much. 36. That's off the acceleration curve, isn't it? And then on to 75. That's absolutely fabulous. Right, smashing. Now, hook that back up, bang some signals in, and these should work a little bit better. Again, it hasn't inherited the station ID, so we'll fix that up in a mo. All of that. And then, I don't know, we'll go this way, I suppose. Yeah, that looks nice. I think people are going to go, oh yeah, oh, perfect. I shall build my new business and or residence in that area, and I will be happy. Now, the other thing to watch out for, or the other thing that I found that I should be watching out for, is making sure that you connect both sides of a town together. It makes people happy, and it actually seems to improve your growth likelihood. So hopping over like that, as much as I try and avoid level crossings, I think on a commuter route it somewhat makes sense. I don't like that corner. I think we can do it better. Or in fact the same. Okay, well, we'll go with or in fact the same. That's absolutely fine. Good. Are we happy with this? I think we're happy with this. Right, let's plunk in some signals. Signals, plunking. And then we'll just let that carry on with its life and hope it does well. Now, the other thing that I'm kind of hoping, growth-wise, is that with the goods being dropped off locally as well, that it has a knock-on effect of building up some local demand. Because I think that everything works together, friends. So a set of commercial buildings will generate extra passengers coming in, extra reason to visit that particular area. Yeah, see, that's apparently too much curvature, which is a total lie. And therefore, growing your commercial stuff within a town by delivering commercial goodies is a not an ineffective way to actually generate a little bit of positive traction. So I'm not bothered if these stations end up having nothing but industry and commercial and all of that kind of jazz kicking around the outside, as long as they get on with it. Anyway, what I do know for sure is that this will be in range of kind of primary routes within El Paso relatively quickly. So that's going to work. I have ultimate faith that is going to work. Right, let's unpause it and give it a chance to do so. This is a good place to sit and just watch trains happening. This bridge in particular, just wonderful. Having good stuff rolling over the top on a regular basis is a good time to be had by all. Right, let's head up to Detroit and actually add something new, shall we, rather than just reinventing what we've done before. Stick a quick pause in. And we're going to need to, and this is going to come back and haunt me in a short time, removing that crossover. Because there are swine to plumb in, your crossovers. Very tricky to plumb in on corners, on uneven ground. So we'll kick off by leveling this out as much as we can, because it's not all on the same exact height level, on the same plane as the Detroit main station. Now, if this pays off, it will mean that Detroit has 4 stations happening in there already. One might suggest that was overkill, in which case you've come to the wrong place. But what we want is we want a station without a middle platform, 4 tracks in total. And then, much like the next one up the line, what this one will do is this one will quite happily allow the main line through, while giving the commuter route somewhere to stop off. Yeah, you see how this is going to work out? Because we're in a dip there, so I'm going to have to delete that back a little bit more. We're also raised up a little bit, which is just slightly perplexing. Do we want... No, we'll keep it 160. Should we give people a roof? Yeah, I'm feeling magnanimous. Let's put a roof on the building. Now, as you get close to here, you'll see this will snap in quite nicely, but we're not actually on the same level there. So what I might try doing, and this may or may not work, is if we pull this to about there. Right, now it says it's flat, but, you know, I don't believe a word of it. I don't think that the difference in height is sufficient for the contour tool to give me any pointers. No, it says that's completely flat. And you can see that it isn't. Yeah, so if I were to build the station right here, right now, what we'd end up with would be, well, it'd be a station at a slightly different height. So what I'm hoping is that if I can lock it onto the track that I just put in, and we're going to need to swing around the corner, ironically, is if I was to use a more traditional station here, I wouldn't need to do this, but... have you left enough room to merge? You've left enough room to merge, but not cross over, and that's going to make you quite sad in a moment. All right, let's go this way a bit. Take down a 65. Because what I need is a merge point in from the station, and then I need a crossover, which it won't be relevant forever, just temporarily. Let's get that in now. I'm not tempted to delete it again. And then we'll stick that on there. Hello, residents of whatever street this is. I got some news for you. And the news is bulldozing time. Because otherwise this road would look particularly horrible. So, sorry about that. There is good news, though. None of you lost your houses. I know. I'm surprised too. But, you know, clearly it was your lucky day. You had bribed the right town ministries, and your survival was assured. Right, okay, I'm committing to this now, as you can probably tell by the fact that I'm smoothing it out already. And hopefully this will work just dandy. Go on, snap onto there somewhere useful, would you? I don't want to remove those 3 buildings. I'm okay with that. It's not great though, is it? I mean, unless you can squeak in a couple of little buildings in there, I'm gonna say I hope you can, and I'll leave you to it, game, and hope that you come through. But there it is. Now then, have I now left enough space to merge on? I believe literally just enough space. This one is no guarantees. Just enough space. Perfect. Right, and then signalling wise, we put a signal here, so the stopping service, the commuter, is the one that is held up, whereas your intercity is able to move through without any issues in the slightest. Right then, next target is down the way. Now, can we make this look elegant, or do we need to make some adjustments? Now you've got a bit of a swan neck going on in there. Now I don't mind that it's recessed a little. I've seen a couple of mods that would suit the task of beautifying that. However, the benefit to not having the commuting, so the mainline services, beg your pardon, stop within that station is kind of eroded by the fact that they immediately burn off some speed. So if we can get round here, let's try it in 1 and see what we look like. Now again, it's going to be slightly curvaceous, but that works for me. I mean, it's £250,000. This is not, you know, not the cheapest bit of track we've ever laid, but I think it'll be worth it. Right, now bang in this one over there, and everything is apparently golden. Yeah, so I was saying, there's a mod that I've been looking at that I will undoubtedly use that will allow me to stick some siding in here. Not a siding in the train sense, perhaps an ill-chosen word on my part there. But to put in some kind of walls of an industrial fashion that'll make it look quite glamorous. That's my aspiration. We'll get to that in due course. It's not today's. No, I haven't showed you today's, have I? No. Today's mod will come into its own momentarily. We'll cut to that particular chase in just a short second or two. I just want to get this up and rolling, and then we're good to go. So the idea is that your commuting service comes inside, whips out onto this sideline here, does what it needs to do with the passengers, drops them off, picks them up, that kind of deal, and then pushes off again. But it will be held up if there is a mainline train still to come through. Right, now I need to cross over the main track, so I'm going to stick in a fourth line, a third line, and a fourth line. No. Concentrate, man. I know it's not your specialist subject, but give it a try for the kids. Right. So what that's done is it's dug out an extra bit of space, which means that I can just bang a bit of road over here like this, and it aligns perfectly, as you can see. No collisions, certainly no terrain alignment problems going on. Actually, this very minor lump isn't so bad. It would be nice to get pillars on both sides, What do you feel about that? Pillars on both? Now you're just taking the mickey there, aren't you? That's way beyond what I'm chasing. All right, let's try it again. Try it like that. Oh, hold on. There we go. What do you got? One pillar again. So it looks good with the steel, though, doesn't it? How good does it look with the stone? Stone also looks pretty good, to be honest. I like that. That's quite nice. Would be nice with a second pillar. How much more do I need to move back? All right. Against my better judgment, let's go for this. Low strength, low brush size. There we go. We'll try that. There will be the application of the smoothing gun afterwards to make this look au naturel-ish. There you go. Give me the second pillar. Come on. Give me a second pillar. Go on, you want to. How much more do you need? Right, another, I don't know, 2.5 meters of erosion. All right, erode. I hope you realise this is making it look rubbish. Come on, get across. Right, there we are. We're there again. And... okay, I think the game is playing with me. I think the game is saying, you don't need 2 sets of pillars. We can do it with 1. And, only humans are fans of symmetry, And, nature and all of that. Right, there we go. How do we feel about that? Well, it's colliding. That's what we feel about that. It's rubbish. Try it again. There you go. Except now you've got this flipping chasm that you've built. Actually, that's more interesting. It's entirely flat or entirely slightly going uphill. I quite like that. That'll do. We'll take it. Sold. Print. Right. Smooth gun. No. Activate high power. Oh, no. Everything you're doing here is bad. That's not the smooth gun. That's the flipping decay the substance of the universe button, which is not the button that we'd intended to monkey with. What happened to you putting industrial walls and stuff down the side of there? Yeah, I appear to have forgotten that in the last minute and a half. C'est la vie. But we have ended up with this rather splendid looking and very flat bridge. Flat bridges, of course, are great. Apparently. Right, okay, do a bit of that. Keep this coming alongside here. If I can persuade the town to build up alongside here, it's going to be massively great. If it doesn't, however, it's still going to be adequately great, I think. There you go. All right. We've committed to a smoothing future here, so let's get that done. And then one more just to finish that off. We'll link that round to there, and then question why we just did that when we saw there was going to be a ruddy grey lump. I tell you, once you start thinking smooth is the future, you end up making a rod for your own back, 'cause you end up smoothing, flipping everything. And there we go. Right, do it again. Onto this one. No, you're creating a lump in my road. I think we just identified moments ago that flat roads are the way that people like it. Look at that. No one's going to re-elect me to town council if the roads look like this, are they? No, sir. No, sir, indeed. Right, try it from here and see if you get any more traction. All right, well, you've got traction, but you're now on a completely inappropriate height, and you've just moved the cursor. All right, this was supposed to be the quick bit, but I think regulars to the channel will know already that the bits that I plan on being the quick bit frequently end up being the bit that takes, 3/4 of an hour. All right, let's leave that alone. Stop messing with it. You're not going to make it any better right now. We will revisit that as the town starts to grow, because it will. And then we shall signal up along the bit that we've remodeled. There you go. That all looks quite promising. Now, lots of signal blocks in there because I need to keep this moving, particularly once we ramp up the volume of trains that we're running down here. So, right, so Sioux Falls, stations 2 and 3, north, El Paso, we are, I know, right, we moved El Paso south. I'll fix that in a tick. But before we do that, here's Detroit Grand Central. So from El Paso west, we then go to Detroit Holt. Then we go to Detroit Grand Central, and then we go to Detroit Holt. You've not done that right, have you? Detroit Holt. No, for some reason it's decided to ping that in at the end. Grand Central, Detroit Holt. There it is, look. Right, and if I resolve the problems we've got with whatever that is, El Paso South, I'm guessing, then we will be in business. And plus the extra stops that the train has to make will actually help, keep them nicely spaced out, especially once demand starts picking up. So El Paso South, we go El Paso South, the real one, kill that one, and then after that you go add this and then kill that one, and then it's happy. And now we go check, we call it back up again because otherwise you can't check, and then we check that that's all correctly aligned along the way. And if this works, we'll switch it on. There you go, perfect, look, exactly what I intended. Oh, it should come as no surprise to anyone at all. So unless the old see that commuter's on the wrong station there. What platform's the other one using? Ideal. So using Detroit as a terminus for the moment is going to work out fine because the commuters will go in one side, the main line will go in the other side, and there'll be no fighting over priority because the main line should always win that battle. But the good thing about Detroit South. There we go. The good thing about Detroit South is it already has a chunk of stuff in its catchment area. And actually, that's something else that I need to do. There we go. Let's get things running again. We'll pop up there in a second, see how it's getting on. But before then, we're going to stick in a couple of road commuting services to help G along the prospects of these other commuter stations. Now then, actually, El Paso's more complicated. We'll do that in a moment, and I'll show you why it's more. It's not that much more complicated. But I'm painting a sense of intrigue there. Right, that'll do. Yep. And then we've got one already right next to the station. So what we want to do here is take in the suburbs along the way back to the other end. So if we put this on like so, and we go from there to the as yet unplaced additional stops. There we go. And if we stick one out here, Because if we can get the town to grow in this area at all, it will be hugely beneficial for the station. So we're going to call this Sioux Falls. Internal, no. Travel, max, card, bus, terminal service, depot, no. Don't like commuter. Yeah, that's what you always end up using. Sioux Falls Station Shuttle. Catchier name as ever, pending. Right, yes, so we go from our bus stop here. We'll head up and we'll go out and we'll hit this one, and then we'll hit that one, and then we'll hit this one, and then we'll hit... I guess we could go and hit round here by the depot. No, but let's hit about there, and then we'll keep going round over the bridge, and then back round and in. It's a pretty ugly route. What would be ideal is to have another bridge that hopped over but shorter. I'm going to have to think about that. While testing out my theorem, I tried a couple of odds and ends in terms of getting road. Yes, that's the thing. Getting road to cross over various different rail setups that I'd got, and a combination bridge and tunnel setup. There you go. It's done exactly what I wanted. Yeah, brilliant. And then we'll go back to Sioux Falls, and then we'll go up here. Yeah, I know. It's traditional. Figure eight. That's what we call this. It's not really. I mean, it's very unlike. I mean, look, there you go. That's a figure eight. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. But that will do the trick. Right, Sioux Falls Station Shuttle. This is actually going to be pretty popular. Because just shoveling people around will help out quite a bit. Now then, what do we got? Look, let's go. I was going to use the Oblaissant there, but that's a European concoction, so we'll stick with a stagecoach. Yeah, you think? Yeah. We'll go with 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There you go. And you are all going to have a jolly whizzy time on the station shuttle. Right, now we want to do the same in El Paso. Now, all of this means that I'm not going to get any further than Detroit today. Don't fear, fans of moving beyond Detroit. We will get to that in due course. I want to do one more thing while we're heading in this direction. Is not put in a ridiculously bendy piece of road. I'll put that in like this. This is going to form the new connection between El Paso and Sioux Falls. I'm doing it in a way that is going to upset drivers and hopefully dissuade them from driving. There you go. We'll even do a bit of that. Look, variety, choice. How are you feeling about that? El Paso to Detroit is unhappy. We've got some trains reporting issues. Someone somewhere is facing the wrong chuffing way. Actually, literally. Train 8, you are facing the correct direction, but unable to go further. All right. Where's the issue? You're waiting for a free path. Show me the path you're trying to take. Well, that shouldn't be a problem, dude. You're fine. Just stay on this track. Okay. I'm hard pressed to see what the problem is. Maybe you just need to turn around there. Station going lad. Have a turn around. My goodness me, these fellas do like to take their time getting up and running, don't they? Come on. Turn around. Turn around. Train 6 reports a problem. It's just not sure what to do with itself. We'll have a word with that as well in a sec. Right. Do you need to pull into the station entirely? I don't know if it does or not. But hopefully, once it's done so, it'll have a firm grasp on what it wants to do with its life. That's good. Come on. You know what? I'm going to activate the hyperspeed here and see if it gets this pulled together. You know, even with hyperspeed, you don't get an awful lot of. you know, look, I'm quite happy having it when it's slow, right? When we're rocking at low speed, because it makes for some jolly pleasing camera angles. I'm jolly pleased. I should imagine you are as well. All right, that seems to have sorted its life out. Right, where's train 6? Hello, what are you doing? You're equally confused by the looks of it, aren't you? I don't know what I'm doing. Turn round. Ta-da! I'm a wizard. I know. You know. So, however did I solve your problem? I can't get to Sioux Falls North from here. Yeah, I know. Dumbass trains. Right, okay, let's... where was I? What was I doing? Why was I doing it? All of these questions and more will be answered as soon as I compile my brainstem. And I was going to build a commuter route in El Paso. There you go. I knew there was something. Let's go and do that. Right, so El Paso is going to be interesting because you've got the twin stations, and while we're not using this one yet, are we? I mean, it's connected, but it doesn't do anything at the moment. But once we are using both sides, there will be a high level of demand for passengers who want to go from here to there, but are too flippin' lazy to walk even that short distance. Now, I'm quite happy for them being too lazy because, you know, where there is laziness, there is profit to be had. Right, now then, this old road, so that bit of country road I got rid of there, this was the original connection between El Paso and Sioux Falls. Not no more, it isn't. Right, so let's now bang in. We want to no. Let's go with. See if we can get a sizable, a significant, another word beginning with S, bus stop at each end. There will be casualties here, but I'm sure everybody will be okay with that. Right, let's do that one. Because there's a you know a high likelihood these serve up quite a large amount of traffic later on, so getting them plumbed in with a good stop now will pay dividends in the future. And actually, someone said that, you know, it was a noticeable difference with this particular series of Transport Fever was because I no longer had the fear, TM, of just losing money left, right, and centre. That stuff that would be developed later normally, I develop now, which is potentially cannibalising future entertainment. Well, I'm sure there's going to be future entertainment. I am wary of the level of pork barrelling that is going on, and is likely to continue going on until we're a little bit more established. The one thing I do know for certain is that this whole setup does prove profitable, even without much change to what I've got going on now. But yeah, I don't want to burn down the standard operation of the piece by relying too heavily on having unlimited funds. So you know, this is me saying I've got my eye on it. Don't worry, I won't let you down. Right, okay, plumb this one in as well. This is another station shuttle, but we're going to go. Why have we even got grey as a pathing option? You can't. You're never going to see it, man. Right. Anyway, we'll go up this side. Yep, that's good. And then we'll stop at the upper. I ought to name these really. If I put as much effort into naming my bus depots as I do bus stations, bus stops, as I do everything else, maybe life would be enriched as a result. Back to the sidings, back to Smith Street, back to the branch, back to the thingamajig, back to this one, and it's another figure 8. That's what it is. Right, L, yes, Paso, it is. Station shuttle. This one takes in 3 stations. My, how lucky we are. Station. Yeah, you didn't really spool your brain up enough for that one. Station Shuttle. Grand. And on that, we shall, I think 6. 6 felt like a good number last time. It feels like a good number now. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Set line to the El Paso Station Shuttle. Activate. Yes. Now, okay, you're going to want to rename that. So this is ELPS, ELPS, Station Shuttle. Okay, right, yeah. I forget that I came up with an actual naming convention. It might not be the sexiest of naming conventions, but it is one nonetheless. And then, guys, show me a stagecoach here. Yeah, you'll do. There you are. Come here. And then we need to rename that. Oh my goodness, what did I? It will be SXFS, right? SFS, yes, Fs. Oh, all these names sound, all these letters, they all pronounced exactly the same way. FL doesn't. I mean, that looks like what I'd call it, but did I? What did we go for here? SXFL. What do you know? I got it right. All right, excellent. Right, good. Okay, right, good. So that's those going. Now those are going to help as time goes on. That'll help move passengers around. Now, what it doesn't do is it doesn't encourage growth in this area. I have done this in so many different playthroughs, both of Transport Fever and Train Fever. Yeah, it doesn't matter where you try and... You can drop people off in the middle of nowhere, and they won't go, you know what, Dorothy, we're going to build the house here. The good Lord has decreed that this is where we should set up for future generation. No, it just doesn't happen. I don't know why it doesn't happen. Well, I've got a pretty good idea why it doesn't happen. It's because the AI is flipping stubborn. That's what I'm going to say about that. Right, okay, now then. So what I'm going to try instead is I'm going to try and limit where they are going to... No, high is too much. Medium will do. Limit where the AI thinks it is allowed to grow. And we'll do that by building cul-de-sacs, effectively. Now, I don't know if cul-de-sac translates well overseas, but in the UK, a cul-de-sac, which, for those of you who have a modicum of French under your belt, the literal translation is in the bag, end of the bag. Yeah, if I stick that in there, it's not going to get any funny ideas about building a bit of road, which, you know what? I'm gonna put pay to any of your aspirations there, Buster. All right. Oops. Hey, overzealous much? Well, yes, a little. Sometimes it happens. Yeah. So we'll seal off these road ends. I'm not going to do the road end gag again. I did that last time. With these ploppable buildings and seeing if it does indeed keep the AI securely locked in its special bag. We don't know for sure. Right, well, actually all of this is slightly redundant as well. I don't want to build an entire street of ploppables, but I will if that's what it takes. Anyway, I'm going to need to keep an eye on this as we progress further. What do we like for the next one? Let's have something a little bit different. Okay, is that the front or the back? That's the front there. There you go. You're not gonna get any growth out of this bit, mate. There you are. See how we get on. So yeah. So as we develop, I shall keep an eye on any growth outward in this direction, and I will immediately plunk down a building in there to prevent it from going any further. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for this time. I didn't quite get around to the mod that I'd intended to use, but getting this right now will make a difference when we, 50 years from now, game time. We should be able to notice the change if I can get things going. Meanwhile, if any of you fine experts out there have got a handle on how you can persuade a new town to grow out of nowhere, that would make me really quite chipper. I'd be rather pleased at such a thing. If you have that information, share it. Don't keep it to yourself. If you are a mod personage and you go, you know what, I'm gonna have a crack at that. I'm gonna see if I can create the how do I get the AI to build houses here mod. That would be the most popular mod on the whole of the workshop for at least 5 minutes. I guarantee it. Anyway, thank you very much for watching today. I've been Colonel Failure. I'm going to find you something nice to look at, and it's going to be just outside Detroit. As soon as I've stunk in? Yeah, sure. As soon as I've stunk in one more building here, I'm going to make it an exciting one that decides to partially dwell under the bridge. This is just so that there are at least some passengers on board the train. There you go. Doesn't that look nice? Oh, there you go. This is a good shot. We're almost in the right place. Don't get too high up or you miss the angle. That's pretty good. Right, next time around, what we're going to do is, will we continue the expansion north? I think there's a high chance of that, to be honest. But more importantly is I want to get a second goods type rolling as quickly as possible. It might feel a little bit too early in the day for a second goods type, my goodness. However, it needs to be done. We need to get some commercial goods going, and that means, if we're going to go easy mode on this stuff, that we're going to be looking at food. So be sure to tune in for that. Yes, didn't get around to doing a mod. I must go and sit on the naughty step for a while. Thanks for watching. I've been Colonel Failure. I will catch up with you very soon, and you can ensure that you are around to be caught up with by pushing the subscribe button to this channel. Apparently, if you push the bell notification thingamajig that sits near or on or by the subscriptions button, you'll receive a notification when the new video goes live. If that's something that even remotely bothers you, push the button by all means. Don't feel obliged to. You know, you've got your own free will. You can make your own choices. And sling a like at this one if you enjoyed it, and I'll be back very soon with a little more of the same and hopefully a little bit more progress. Thank you very much for watching. I'm going to find somewhere nice to sit. This will do. Actually, this looks quite nice. Come on, where's my train spotting spot? It's about there. Splendid. No, you moved. Don't do that. Grand. Cheerio.